Hello traders, and welcome to Trading the Trend with Strong Week Analysis. I am Dennis, and this is going to be my weekend report. It is August 16th, and here we are looking at my Strong Week rankings. These are the closing Friday rankings from the last 5 weeks, and this past week all the European currencies were strong. You had a good move in Euro, moving up to the number 1 spot. The pound regained some strength, and then even the Swiss franc kind of got off the floor here. So those are things I'm watching. Now let's look at some charts. Here is the Euro US dollar. This has been in a trading range, hasn't really done much. We've come up to an important resistance level of the 11200 level, and price got there and it's rejecting it. So I would anticipate possibly a move lower in this coming week on this pair, but it's still very much range bound, so it could move lower and shoot right back up. So that one's going to be a little tough to deal with right now. So let's look at some other pairs. How about the Aussie US dollar as my market scope loads? And of course it's going to take its time here. Come on. A little bit longer. It's funny, all the other screens have loaded except the daily, and the daily is taking its time right now. Well, while it's thinking, let's look at the 4-hour. That loaded. And as far as the 4-hour is telling us is that it's coming up against this 200 moving average on the 4-hour, and so far that is holding. Let's back it up a little bit further, and you can see this 4-hour chart on the 200 moving average has been holding quite nicely. Now, what concerns me is we've had a couple touches of this 400, and the price is not just shooting down. All these other occasions, anytime it's hit it, it's come right down. It's hit it here, it's come right down. This time it's not coming right down. It's kind of hanging there. So it might be trying to push through. So we'll be watching that. Also, something to look at. For some reason my daily chart still is not loaded. Let's look down here on the weekly. And we do have a little bit of a hammer down here, so that usually implies that we could see price moving up a little bit. And I will be watching this red line here at 76. That's going to be an important point of resistance. Now let's go to the next chart, which is going to be the Euro Aussie. And that one loaded right up. And this is, we're looking at the daily here. And of course, this is that head and shoulders I've been talking about. We go back a little further. And you can see it. We have a shoulder here, the head here, shoulder, and this is the double shoulder, double right shoulder. And we almost had a nullification of this trade setup as price actually got up above this second shoulder here, but then it turned right back down, and actually if we zoom in a little closer, it gave us a nice reversal candle, which should point price back down here. We kind of did nothing the following day, but we did finish the week with a down candle. So if we can continue to move lower, maybe this thing can finally break out of this little uptrend and start moving lower for us. Right now the trend is still up, and if you look at the strong week rankings, Euro is still ranked ahead of the Aussie. So if you do go short here, you are you're kind of going against the flow right now, but everything's telling us that this should move lower. So that's how I'm playing it. Now, as far as the top strong week trade of the week, which is the Euro Chef, let's take a quick look at that. If I can find it here, there it is. And let's see if that one loads. Yep, that one loads, okay. This currently is our top strong week trade, not a pair I normally trade. you can see it's been in a nice uptrend here recently. We'd had this little pullback here, then it just shut off. What we got here, 6 up days in a row, but then we finished the week on a down note. Now, is it going to do another one of these things before heading up again? Could be. We'll watch that. It could just come down a little bit further, then shoot right back up. But this is not one I normally trade. If you're interested in it, that's the setup. Just wait for a pullback and kind of a reversal candle like we had a doji here. That kind of signaled that the down move was over, and then it headed back up. Now there's one more I can show you here, since most of the currencies I normally deal with is the euro, the US dollar, and the Aussie, and they're all kind of bunched up here together, so I'm not really getting any good strong weak trades out of them. A pair I do trade somewhat is the US and the Canadian dollar, and that's got a decent separation, so we'll look at that one. US dollar, there we go. Now here you can see we've had about a week and a half of pullback on this, and then the last 2 days a bit of an up move. So maybe the pullback's over on this one and it's ready to start shooting higher. This is one of those where I have a long-term outlet for this thing to move up substantially. Let's look at this on the weekly. We'll come down here, and as you can see, I'm watching that 128 area. That should offer some very strong support should price continue to pull down. We did have a nice little hammer for the week, so that should help us make a move higher in the coming week. We'll back this out a little bit, and I can show you my long-term outlook for this trade. You know, we had this cup formation with our little handle here, break out of the handle, and I am looking long-term for price to possibly get back up here to the 1600 area. So that's still about 3,000 pips away. So I'll be watching that and trying to play that one for the long term. Okay. Well, anyway, that's what I have for you this week, and I will see you all on my thread. Have a good weekend.